I have 441. I don't know.
One thing, I returned it. And this,
What's it say?
31.
31 or
this
30.
young woman was.
Well, we'll call the meeting to order.
Close this door.
Appreciate everybody showing up today, so we could have a quorum.
Is this everybody?
This is us, except for Callie, the chair.
And we're recruiting, what, 3 more?
3, yes.
In April. is
In
usually
April,
when
I
they'll-
think.
April.
Because, so we want to remember to check our own circles and see if there's any, as I mentioned last week, see if there's anybody that you think would make a good board member for the museum. Okay, public invited to be heard. Anybody have anything to say, Sheila?
Not a word.
She's our public today. Okay, we missed you last week, or last one.
I was somewhere, I can't remember where. I was away.
Yeah, was it Eric, I think was his name?
Yeah, Eric. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, does everybody have a chance to look at the minutes? And as usual, we're expertly done. Is there a move? Anybody want to make a motion to accept the minutes?
I'll make
Linda? Is there a second? Bruce, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Read the room. No accessions this month, which will make somebody by the name of Mark. I think he's a volunteer at the,
Oh, yes, Mark is.
I
one of
sat
our
next to him at the
collections.
volunteer
Yeah.
reception.
That's right.
And he said, do you always have to approve? Because he keeps, I don't know, he does like catalogs of or something like that.
Yeah.
He said, do you ever reject anything?
We do. We there's a lot that you don't ever see things that people offer us that don't relate to
Yeah.
Longmont at all.
Anyway, Mark will be happy this month.
But yes,
He's catching up.
when we between the transition, we got pretty far backlogged on cataloging, so Mark is having to deal with some of that.
All right, no session, so let's go into our reports. And the first one is the report of the director.
All right, so I'll get a few highlights. If you haven't taken a look out our windows, the Stewart family courtyard is in process. So there's all kinds of dirt being moved right now. If you were here earlier in the day, you might have felt the building shake a little bit because they've been doing a lot of compacting of the soil. So all in order to give us a nice flat courtyard with hopefully great drainage and a much more usable facility for most of the year. So we're excited about that. As you can see, they've totally dismantled all of the old pavilion that was there, and there's a big hole in the ground where the new performance pavilion will be. So, we are right now, I think the latest completion date is somewhere mid-May. That's already shifted a couple weeks as they've had some snow to deal with. So
That's pretty fast.
we are not planning on using the grassy area this summer, just to give it a chance to root down and get fully established. And we'll be opening it this fall.
So you won't have the concerts there this summer?
Summer concerts will be out in parks around the city. We're going to
Oh,
have 3 independent parks around the city, just to sort of let people know, hey,
Which parts?
I don't think Justin has chosen them yet. I know Kanemoto Park was one that was seemed like a good possibility, but he's working with the folks in parks to find ones that have the right sort of infrastructure for a big crowd, and we should be announcing announcing those in a couple of weeks.
Hmm.
I will also mention under administration that we're starting to work on a code of ethics for the museum. So this is something you'll see coming back to you in a couple of months. It's one of the kind of standard documents that museums should have according to the American Alliance of Museums. We've never had one, so we're going to start the process and then bring it to you all for some further discussion.
Well, I guess the briberies will have to stop, huh?
That is, one of the elements is, Bruce, his picture will be in the code of ethics.
Public enemy, number one.
Exhibits, we have Jared Thompson here with us, our curator of exhibits. So if you have any questions about any of the elements under exhibits, feel free to ask him. If not, I'll highlight, we have already opened registration for summer camp. Seems hard to believe under education. Before we know it, we will have our summer camps. They're going to be using a fenced-in area out in front of the museum this summer as the courtyard gets established. But we're still going to have a full array of our regular summer camps. And a lot of them this year will be taught by museum staff. We've hired some additional staff so that rather than contracting out our camps, which is basically a no net gain to our bottom line, we're able to bring in staff, and so we'll actually hopefully be able to make some money on our camps this year.
So you and Joanne will be teaching?
Yeah. We've got some great new folks, Henry Anderson, Julie Benoit, our new staff, plus Macca and
So the permanent staff, Eric?
so Ann and Lee are what the city calls permanent or benefited staff, and then Henry and Julie are both part-time non-benefited. So we bring them on as needed for classes and so forth, and so they'll be pretty much full-time in the summer months teaching those teams. We'll skip on down to art and public places. Wanted to give you all a heads up because this is one of those things that you never know. It may pass completely under the radar or it may become a big issue. So the Safety and Justice Center, which is basically at 3rd and Kimbark Street, was built in 1993 and is undergoing a massive renovation. They actually, when they did an assessment a couple of years ago, there's a sort of front rotunda on that, and they said this is just about to fail. There's major work that building will be undergoing, and unfortunately, there is a very large mosaic mural that is mounted, or basically integral to the clock tower on the Safety and Justice building, and the clock tower is coming down, and unfortunately, they cannot salvage the mural. So that has been deaccessioned by the Art and Public Places Commission. They will be putting in a new artwork at the conclusion of the project, but sadly, one of the first pieces of public art in the city is going to have to be removed. They looked at really hard, is there any way to salvage it? And because it is basically integral to the building as it stands now, there's no way for it to be salvaged. So, certainly something we will be working with the city's communications team to let folks know about it. We don't want this to be, swept under the rug or anything, but certainly something that could come up. If anyone does have any questions, feel free to refer them to myself or to Angela Brill, our Public Places Administrator.
I would assume that somebody will be taking some type of photographs of it so
yes,
that it will be
very well documented. We've reached out to the artists, let them know they actually have the right, if they wanted to try to salvage it on their own, and they have not responded. Multiple attempts by multiple channels have not been able to get a response.
I've never seen it. Where is it on the building?
If you walk into the front doors of the Safety and Justice Building, you'll walk.
I see it's on the inside.
It's basically right at the front, but it is kind of enclosed. There's a big arc of sort of concrete ribs that come out of the building, and it is inside those ribs. So if you're just standing looking at the building, it's easy to miss, but as you kind of walk up to the front of it, you'll see there's a mural that's right below the clock that hasn't worked for many years and will be coming down as part of the whole project. Just wanted you all to be aware of that, since it is something that there could be, public concern over.
Well, there'll probably be at least one letter to the newspaper, call, at least, or two,
Are they expanding the building, or are they just renovating?
Mostly renovation, but some expansion, as I understand it.
Having jail cells, things like that.
So, there's a lot more cops and public safety than when the building was built in 1993. So, we definitely need more space.
Are you talking about the public safety building? Or?
Just talking about the deaccession of the artwork.
Oh.
He was talking about that the building needs to accommodate more auto thieves.
So, there's some of that, but a lot of it is the foundations of the building was. It's in bad. I've been in the public safety looking, and just the foundation, the cracks in like key parts. So like if you have a supporting beam and you look along the floor where along the concrete where they tore up the rug, it's just all.
Well, it sounds like we're fully constructed to begin with.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's like the civic center too.
Yeah.
You can't carry a lot of weight. So like some of the public or art in public places, the essential, some of the artwork that they have in there, if they put in anything too heavy, it can crash down to the garage. So yeah.
Lightweight.
Lightweight is the thing.
The new, whatever new artwork goes in will be
it's
much lighter.
Balloon animals.
Yeah. And paper.
Moving on, Saturday, June 22nd, mark your calendars for a fundraiser at the museum. It is called Touch a Truck. So we are going to be working with a number of different city departments. They're very excited to be here, show off some of their cool pieces of equipment, and we will be selling tickets for families and anyone who wants to come in. You can actually come in and sit in, a city garbage truck, city fire truck, the public works trucks, parks trucks, all kinds of things. So
We're going to have them parked out.
we will be
parking lot.
filling the museum lot with all of these vehicles, and then parking folks both in the rec center lot, and probably have shuttles from the innovation center down the road. It's expecting it to be a very popular event.
I bet.
And I already mentioned got stats on our visitor services, a lot going on with marketing, and then under volunteer and evaluation coordination, a great volunteer appreciation Valentine's Day event. Was that last week?
Yeah.
So those of you that were able to be here, appreciate coming out, meet up with other volunteers and see what folks are doing for the museum.
And learn more about Longmont through the
Oh God, yeah, that's
through
true.
the
Wow.
the trivia.
Trivia of the
Game.
Sims, yeah.
Fortunately, it was a team effort, because I don't think we got much correct. I don't think.
Any questions on the director's report?
Okay, thanks. For the chair, I don't think Callie had anything that she wanted to bring forward. Unfinished business. I was looking through the minutes, I don't think there's anything that we're still gonna carry
Not
forward.
aware of
The
anything.
vision statement was approved last month. New business.
So we need to designate the official posting places, dates, and times of the museum advisory board meetings. Joanne reminded me it's here at the Museum Civic Center and online.
Correct. And just, we should have done this last month, but your secretary forgot to have you do it. So, and just designate that your meetings are held on the third Wednesday of each month, 4:30 PM at the Longmont Museum. So if anyone wants to float that motion and make it official.
Anybody like to move? Catherine?
I'll second.
I seconded.
You moved
You
and
moved.
I moved.
and Bob seconded.
Yes.
Okay, that our meeting times will be posted online at the Civic Center and here. So, everybody agree with that? Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Want it posted many more places?
We're good, thank you.
Okay, the motion passes. Any board comments about any topics or groups?
No, I usually interrupt when Eric is giving us the director's report. That's why I offer my comments.
Well, I'm sure
I apologize for that.
there are always good comments, I think, and makes us think about some things. I appreciate those.
I'd like to, when did they start the construction out there?
Mid-January.
Mid-January. Okay. It's a pretty fast project.
Yep. It's, yeah, they've managed to do quite a lot already, and so
Yeah,
I'm excited to see
hopefully-
it done.
Hopefully, when it snows or rains, the water won't back up into the museum.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yes.
So,
That's important.
Yeah, that was like, that was last night.
So, it's been, yeah, it's been a while since we've had that particular problem, but certainly the swamp that central area of the courtyard becomes is not great for any kind of event out
So
there.
they must be regrading that then.
So they're actually going to put all of the drainage underground right now. The downspouts all go basically onto that, onto what was a grassy area. And they're going to just pipe it directly into underground pipes. And then what had been kind of a grassy area closest to the museum will become hardscape. So it'll be much flatter, much be able to be used for a lot longer period of time, since we don't have to deal with the wet
Yeah.
conditions that we do.
Yeah.
Anything else? Eric, it might have been in your report, but I noticed, how's the capital campaign coming?
We are at 85% of our goal, and we have January was kind of a quiet period for the campaign. We actually just met this week with our capital campaign committee. So our two big fundraisers this year, one will be the Touch a Truck event, and then the other on September 7th will be a gala that will hopefully wrap up the campaign. Megan also just sent in a letter to the Betcher Foundation in Denver. That's kind of the first step of a multi-step process to apply for a grant through Betcher. And then we're planning a couple of smaller events, farm to table dinner at Olin Farms as a fundraiser, and probably an event here at the museum that may be similar if any of you came to the walkthrough event we had back in November, where we're kind of touring you through where the expansion will be. You know, now we've got an opportunity to show folks, you know, here's the first phase. You can also look at the offices, which are now completed and moved into. So those will be kind of some of the fundraiser events, and we're, you know, continuing to contact folks, reach out, and we expect we'll be doing that all the way until hopefully we finish the campaign off at the gala in September.
And what's the date of that gala?
September 7th.
September
Saturday.
7th.
Oh, that's great, 85%.
Yeah, we've had great support. In fact, our consultants, Prismatic Consulting, that kind of laid out what they thought we could get from individuals, corporate foundations. They thought we could get about 100,000 from individuals, and we've already well surpassed that. So it's real testament to the support from the community.
Just as a reminder, I remember our former board member, Dale, had suggested and encouraged that it would be, and this probably already has occurred, that it'd be good if each board member contributed something. There's no minimum or maximum. And I know from my experience in the healthcare industry, it's always good to be able to say, when people ask, oh, has your board or has someone, and you're able to say, oh yeah, we have 100% have contributed. So don't, we're not expecting certainly hundreds of thousands from the board. But that would
Foundation
would not be rejected either.
Absolutely.
But
it's one of the things they ask is, has 100% of your board contributed?
Yeah.
And so it's very helpful.
Turned over their estates too.
Does anybody have anything else they would like to bring up before we move to adjourn and move into our featured presentation this evening? Would somebody like to move we adjourn?
I move that we adjourn.
Well, there we go. We are. And that is about, I can't see, 4:54. All right. Well, we have, I'm sure it'll be an interesting presentation by Jared. I know, having gone through several of the exhibits since I've been on the board, they're all amazing, and I don't know how they get so creative, and I'm sure it just happens, right?
Yeah, I'll bring you guys through the process and kind of show you some of the behind the scenes.